looks good. All right, guys, welcome to the first recorded session. I did try to do this before Thanksgiving, I believe, and failed miserably. So I'm going to try to do these on a weekly basis, probably on a Sunday, so we can review the week. And I'm also thinking of maybe doing a midweek as well, just to see where we are on the charts. So what I like to do in a new month is start off on the monthly charts, and I'll do one of my favorite scans is the 322, which basically, and I don't like playing puts or shorts. I've never been good at them, so I usually look for long positions. And the 3-2 down, 2 up is an example of a long reverse. Let me get on the monthly here. Here we go. All right, guys. So this is an example of a 3-2-2 bullish reversal. But as you can see, it hasn't made the 2 yet. It's not actionable until it crosses this pivot here where I've got my entry set at 2338. So that is your actionable signal to enter this trade if you want to go long. And for those who don't understand the candles, I'll do a quick overview. You can look at these here. As you can see, there's only 3 types of candles, or bars. I like to call them bars, using the Strat. And also the Strat, if you're a true Stratter, which I'm not, it's based solely on price action. So, but I like to use a few indicators to help me with my decisions as far as entries and exits. So looking at this, here's a 3. A 3 is considered an outside or an engulfing candle bar, and what that means is basically it took out the high and the low of the previous candle. And just the opposite of that is a 1. That's an inside candle. Inside candle basically does not, it stays inside the previous candle. So as you can see here, we did not make a lower low, or we did not make a higher high. And the 2 is basically a continuation candle, the 2s. Here's a 2 continuation here. This is considered a 2 up because it took out the high of the previous candle, and this candle is considered a 2 down because it took out the low of this candle. So that's a 2 up, and this is a 2 down. So, any questions on the candle types? All right, guys. Moving forward. All right, so one of my favorite Strat plays is, like I said, the 3-2-2 bullish reversal. There is a 3-2-2 bearish, which is just the opposite of what I'm playing here, but I like to do as one of those. I also like playing inside candles. I like playing 3-1-2s and 2-1-2s, which I'll get into those in other live sessions. I'll show some examples of that as well, but I figured for the start I'd use my favorite one. So the beginning of the month, I always like to start with a monthly chart, and I'll run a scan in TOS. I've got a scan set up that searches for some high probability 322 plays. So one of the first ones was Norwegian Cruise Line, NLCH. I didn't post this in the Strat room, but it is one that I am watching. So basically, as you can see, we got a 3-2 where the previous month took out the low of the obviously the current month, which is now the previous month. If took out the low of the previous candle here, and then it reversed. So anybody that was shorting here is now trapped, and they're either going to have to, wherever they've got their stops at, somewhere in between these two candles here. I'm hoping that their stops are probably going to be at this pivot here or somewhere in between. So they're going to either have to cover or sell their shorts. So we're hoping that that's going to, once this triggers, you're hoping that it starts, selling and buying, and it continues the stock moving forward. So the idea of this is once you get your entry here, your target is the top pivot of that three bar. This up. You can see I also post a little risk and reward. I like to put these on here as well. These aren't necessarily my stops, but it just gives me an idea of the R&R on this trade. If I have my stop set here, I believe it's this 22 currently here, and then the target is at the 29.45. So you can see you get almost a 4-to-1. So that would be a very good risk to reward setup. All right. So the other things I look at, as you can see, I have some EMAs. I use the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA. I also use the VPVR indicator, volume profile visible range, to help. Each of these I use as potential entries and exit, and where there could be some consolidation or reversals. So I like to use those as well. Like I said before, True Stratter doesn't use any of that stuff, but I like to use these just to see if there could be, like when this triggers here, I got a little bit of possible resistance at that 8 EMA. So I just like to be aware of that on the monthly. And I also look at the weekly and dailies as well to see where there could be some resistance. So I would expect possible some resistance there. We'll see. And then again, at this level here, I would expect some resistance as well as it tries to cross that 21 EMA. And also you can see the volume profile here. There's a little bit of resistance as well in between there. So I always like to have that as well, just to make me aware, to keep more of an eye on it once price reaches those areas. So once I determine if I like the monthly, which I do like this monthly, I'll then look at the weekly. And again, since the month's already started, we're a couple of days into the new year here, so it's but this trade is still actionable, hasn't triggered yet. So again, I'm looking at the weekly now. You can see that we've already crossed the 21, or at least we closed above the 21, which is good, but still obviously below my target. And that, oh, I'm sorry, that's the 8. The yellow is the 8, my bad. And of course my entry is very close to the 21 EMA. So again, I want to watch for resistance, probably before I enter. Once it's triggered, I'll usually go down to the 15. I'll go down to the 15 or 30 minute, and I'll watch and see how price action is, or to see if there is some resistance there. See if I get a back test of that, of my trigger. There's a good chance that could happen. So I don't automatically jump in a trade without seeing if see if it'll test that, retest the entry target. And again, there's a little bit of resistance here I'll watch for as well before it goes, before it hits my target. Then, if I like the weekly, which I did on this one, I'll look at the daily. So again, let's get a little here. And if you look at the daily, it still some resistance there right in the middle of our range here. But it's, if you see the daily, let me make this a little bigger. We are above my EMA, so that's good. Looks good on the daily. And again, one of the things I do, you know how Ben likes to look at channels. Sometimes I'll throw that on here as well. If I see one that's sticking out, I'll throw one on there as well, just to give me an idea of where I could see some other resistance as well, as this is going back through this channel. It's sitting right there in the middle, so could see again a little resistance from that middle channel. And again, once it gets toward the top of that channel, right before that volume there, again right around the same area where I likely would see resistance. So just some other things that I like to watch as well. If there's something that's sticking out like that is right there, I'll throw that up on there and watch it as well. Oh, one other thing. Let me go back to the monthly. I also got another setting that I use, which is basically, it's a Fibonacci, but the Fibonacci I have on here, let's see if it'll show it. If I can click it. It might not give it to me. But basically, all I'm doing with that Fibonacci is just trying to find the middle of that three bar. That's another area where if we get above that three, if we get above the middle of that three bar, there's a good chance that it will continue toward our target. If we do surpass the middle of it, odds are that it will continue to travel to our target. All right. Any questions there, guys? You guys still there? It's funny when kind of feel like Ben now when you're talking and you don't. Oh, hang on. Let's see. Do top to bottom, not body for the fib. Yes, you want to go from wick to wick. That's with everything. With the Strat, you everything's wick to wick. See, like this too. If that was if you didn't count the wick, if you only counted the body, that would be an inside. So yes, there was actual, not actionable, but there was price action, in this wick. So you definitely want to include that. Well, I look at the monthly. I like to look at the monthlies at the beginning of the month, and then I'll set up my Strat plays off the monthly chart, and if they become actionable, that's what determines if I'll take a position or not. If I still like the setup. And then once I do take a position, that's when I'll definitely start watching the weekly and the daily to see how it plays and watch for resistance on the dailies. Now these monthlies are obviously swings. Most of my strat setups that I'm going to give you guys will be swings. You can do day trading with the strat on the lower time frames, works just as well. For certain setups, they'll all work as well, but I like to swing. I've always been a swing trader. Day trading's okay, but I've got a full-time job, and it's hard sometimes to stay focused. I do have some time in the morning. If I can do some plays in like the first hour and a half of trading day, I could day trade then. But after that, I can't stay as focused. And if if I don't get a play by then, I usually don't. I'll wait till the end of the day. I'll look again around 3 o'clock and see if I can catch something for power hour. But let's move on. Okay, so that is my first play that I looked at. Let's look at, excuse me, let's look it down. Oh, and one of the reasons a lot, not a lot, most of my scans came up with either travel, a couple of health names, but most of it was travel. So, which is good because I think over the next couple of months, well, not couple of months, actually the next few weeks, I'm hoping that the Omicron will be in the later stages, that and travel is really going to pick up. All right, so the next one that I'll shoot through that I liked is American Airlines. Pop this in here. Again, very similar as you can see. You see the 3-2, the 3-2-2. This one actually did hit my target, but then it pulled back. So it didn't really make it to that resistance on the monthly. I did not enter this trade as I was watching it on the lower time frame. I was actually watching it on the 15 and the 30, and it never did come back above that, so I did not enter this trade. But this is still actionable. I'm still watching it, even though it closed below the two EMAs. I'm still going to watch this one for an entry. Again, same protocols. I look at the weekly. Again, it closed right below the 21 there on the weekly. Same for the daily. I'll look for resistance. If there's some resistance here, the daily's nice. You can see it did. Pull this up, you guys. How it closed. Yeah. Just below my entry. So I'll reset that. Alert to see if it can become actionable this week. All right, there's another American Airlines. Another one I was looking at was BA. This one I liked. I like the setup, but the reason I didn't post it, I didn't really see any good affordable contracts. I tried to find stuff that's between like $1 to 250 maybe. The contracts I was looking at for this was over 3, so a little expensive for me, unless I just do 1 or 2 for a starter. But again, unless this thing really looked really sweet, I would not consider it. But again, it triggered, but it closed right at my trigger there. So again, I did not get into this one. Let's see. Time frame. Time frame. You're looking for these to play out targets. So I look at 3 time frames mainly: the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. I'll watch each one. I'll look at each one on a daily basis.
So, I mean, how long from the time you enter are you hoping for it to reach your target?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Look, guys, I got another. Glad you mentioned that because I forgot another indicator that I use. If you look down here, this ADR, this is average daily range indicator. Basically, and it's 14, so it averages the last 14 candles, depending on which time frame you're on. So if I'm on the monthly, it's averaging the last 14 candles. And if you look over here, this is the price. This is the range, 31.67. So I take that into account that this month possibly it could move up or down, 31 and a half points. So so I take that into effect as well, as far as how long it'll take to reach target, and choosing my contracts. Contracts are a little wonky. This, if you go out, there's like 3 or 4 weeklies, so you have to go out to either January, I think it's January 21st, and then the next one's around February the 18th before you get away from the weeklies. February 18 and March 18 are the ones I've been focusing on for these setups. But yeah, that's another indicator I use down here at the bottom. Sorry, guys. I'm glad you mentioned that. So yeah, 31 days on the monthly. So hopefully within a 31 day, not a 31 day, sorry, 31 points up or down. Hopefully it goes up, right? So we want to see 30-point move up. That'll put us over the target actually. If we're sitting at what? We're sitting at 213. So what's that? 233. Even more than that. So we should, if the price moved really well on this BA, it should hit that target pretty quick. Let's go back. See what the AL was. As you can see on the American Airlines, the average on a monthly is only 4.5. So you can see you would want to buy a little further out. This one probably in March. So it's going to take an average of what, 4. Let's see, 20. You're making me use my math here, but you get it. I mean, 4 points. It's going to take. It's probably going to take a couple of months to get to that target. Maybe, just depends. All right, moving on. United, I can't remember if I posted this one or not. I'd have to look and see. But again, same type of setup where it did hit my target, but I did not, and I didn't. I mean my entry, but I did not take a position in this one. Let me get the weekly. So it did just above the 21. It looks like it closes, so that's good. If it stays above that, gets back above my entry, I'll definitely consider a position on that one. All right. And let's look at the daily as well. Yep, daily doesn't look too bad either. Fairly similar to the American Airlines, actually. All right, just moving on down, guys. Eric is another one that I'm interested in. It's sitting right between my two EMAs. So looking for that to get above that 8 EMA there for an entry. And with this one being such a very big outside candle on that previous month, that November month, my target is just the halfway point on this one. Even though, you know, if it's a true strat, your target will be up here around the 91 area. But that's a big move, in my opinion, for Merrick at this time. So still, you know, 3-1. If I honor this stop here, not bad R&R. All right. Again, I'll look at the weekly again and see where, again, very similar on the EMAs. Then I'll drop down to the daily and see where my resistance could be. As you can see, right at that target there, there's some price volume resistance. So I'd be looking to get out right around there, or at least trim some of my position. All right. And the gap, this is another one that I'd liked. I actually did take a position on this one today. It did hit my target and stayed above. I believe these are some March 18, 20 calls. I believe I had to look. I don't have my journal right in front of me. I think I left it at work actually. But I did take a position on the gap. I'll post it tomorrow, guys, so you guys will know which position and what price I got and what strike. So again, I'm looking for a target here at the end of that 3. And again, I'll watch as I cross that halfway point. I'll probably trim. Well, I know I will. I'll definitely trim some of my position before it gets to those EMAs. Because I'll look to see a little resistance there. You can see on the weekly there where it did see a little resistance. It didn't get over that 8 EMA there. Pretty much stopped right at it. I think you can see, yeah, you can see it did touch it, crossed it a hair, and then pulled back. So hopefully that won't be an issue. Won't have any issue going through that EMA. And the same. Oop, shit! I just moved that. That's one of the things. Oh well. I'll fix it later. Got to be careful when you grab your chart. If you grab one of your targets, you move it. But another thing I liked about the gap, if you look on the daily, there's a nice gap on gap. So looking for to hit crosses that 1929. Hopefully we'll get a gap fill as well, because that last earnings, when it dropped on that last earnings report. And another thing I'll see as well, sometimes being on drum, you see a little cup, so we get a little cup action here as well, where the price is moving back up. So I want to see again, see that cup, see the price just keep moving up. Another little thing I like to watch as well, when you see a cup, hopefully we'll get above these, get into that gap before maybe we see any pullback to form a handle. I prefer it not form a handle, just keep moving. All right. Let's see what else did I, oh, let me, I also took a position in RCL today. Let me go back to the monthly. I liked undo button. Where's the undo button? Oh, undo. Okay, cool. Oh well. I think I knew about that, but I appreciate the reminder. Obviously, I didn't use it. Okay, so for RCL Royal Caribbean, I did take a position in this one as well. It did hit my target, and it stayed above it. I think on the 15-minute I was watching when I entered it, but as you can see, it did pull back. If we go, actually, if we even go down to the 15, I'm not exactly sure what time I entered, but no point. Let me go back to the daily. But it did trigger, and I think this one, I think I took positions in March on this one as well. But again, I'll post them to guys tomorrow. I'll let you know what I took. So now that I'm in this one on the daily, I will definitely watch. You can see here, can see a little bit of resistance here at this volume level, this price volume. So once I'm in a position, basically that's what I do, guys. I'll watch it on each of these time frames, mainly the daily, to see what's going on. I don't really get into, once I'm in a position, if it's a long, swing, I don't really get anything under the daily as I'm watching it, because it just it stress you out if you try to watch. At least it does me. So yeah, so that's where it's seeing some of the resistance there. That's where it got that little pullback on the weekly there, as you can see. No worries, I'm still confident. And this one here has got a real nice, if this plays out, got some real nice R&R It's a 10 to 1 if I honor this stop loss I got here. So, and as you can see, I don't know if I showed it on others, but for my stops, I usually try to set it at a resistance level or at an EMA level. As you can see, it's right in between those. Excuse me, in between the 8 and the 21, where I stop. If it drops below that 21, I'll definitely watch it much closer. With such a big reward on this one, I might even let it get down to the 21 if it were to pull back that far before I stop it out. Um, let's see. Oh, there's another one that I was watching. I think this was on Ben's watch list this morning. That I didn't set a trigger for. I was just watching it, but it is right at the my entry. It did. I think it closed just above it, a little bit there. So that would probably be if you didn't get in lift, if you want to play it long. I'm not sure if Ben was thinking of swinging this, but it did pull back quite a bit early in the day, and then but it reclaimed and let's see, yeah, it did reclaim and close green. Actually got a nice little hammer on the daily. Let's see. Really, if it can get above that high of yesterday, not much resistance on the daily. Nice little opening here on the volume. Don't see any resistance till it gets to that first target. So if you wanted to swing lift, it looks good. Looks good on the daily. It's good on the weekly too. So like I say, you won't see any resistance probably till it gets to around that 21 EMA. Here's one more at Uber. I know Eva has this in. I don't know if she's still in this position. I think she is, but I remember watching this when she went long on it, and as you can see, last month, I think we actually went long, somewhere around. I think we topped it. Actually, well, she did. I didn't get in it, and it just, or I could be wrong. That was at the beginning of the month, probably. I'd have to look back on the daily. But yeah, I mean, you could see it did. But this month, so far, oh, I'm sorry, I thought I was on the monthly. This is the weekly. So yeah, last week, I think early the week, you could see, yeah, nice red. But it turned right around. So it's actually, this is a good example of a 2-1-2 on the weekly. You would have took your entry would be right here. It's right exactly almost where my entry is off of that inside candle, inside bar, and it's looking pretty good on the weekly. It's above the EMAs. Might see a little resistance here around that 46.37, 46.50 area. And then that's my target at 48.88 is what I was looking at. Let's look at the monthly. Yeah, I didn't do a risk reward on this one, but it's if you were to, it looks pretty good. Let me throw on Let me just drop a quick one on here. If you put your right around that 20, that 80 MA, so yeah, it's over 5.5. Even if you were to drop it a little further around, I try to get at least 3-to-1 risk reward. I will go lower than that, 2-to-1 if it's, but that would be a much shorter swing. So 3-to-1, 4-to-1. But yeah, that would be a good swing. If you're not in it, if you are in it, stay in it. It looks like it's going to do. It should perform well now that it's back above that resistance right here. So just a little bit. Let me go to the monthly. I think that's why. Oh yeah, I threw this on here because this wasn't that true 3-2. I think I just wanted to talk about this one because Eva was in it. As you can see, this one is actually a two down, a 2-2 reversal actually. So got a 2 down, then another 2 down, green, but it reverses. 2 down green, you look for a reversal, which is exactly what it's doing. So again, for the 2-2 reversal, that would be your entry, and this would be your target where it's set. All right, I think that's about it, guys. Let's see. You always play in options. Uh, I do now. I did dabble in shares when I first started trading. I've only been trading. I've managed an IRA for quite a while, but that's different than trading. When I say managed, I manage my own IRA, but that's a lot different than day trading or playing options. I've only been trading a little over a year now, year and a half. And I did trade shares, I did penny stocks, was following some Furus on Twitter. You know the names. I don't need to tell you guys. And got burnt big time. Blew up half of my account in like the first 6 months. So that's when I started to regroup, and I found Ben on Twitter. I found Alex Options. If you guys follow him on Twitter, he's a big Strat player as well, and also Sarah Strat Sniper. She's a very good Strat player as well. She's got a lot of education info, and so does Alex. They both got YouTube channels. That's where I learned a lot about the Strat, just basically everything about the Strat from them too. So I would recommend that you follow them on Twitter and check out their YouTube channels and just watch all of their educational stuff. They're much better teachers than I am. So I definitely recommend checking those guys out. Other than that, let's see. I only had a couple more, but I didn't. They're very similar to the ones I went over. I just wanted to give you guys an overview of how I look at playing the Strat. This is one of my favorite setups, so I started with this one first. But like I said, probably tonight or sometime this week, I'll also do I'll have some setups for like the 3-1, the 3-1-2. That's another one I like to play. The 2-1-2 bullish reversals and the 3-1-2 bullish reversals. I'll look for some of those. I've got a scan for both of those as well. Um, and I got a couple more scans, but I don't like them as much, like the PMG bullish and PMG bearish. It's like a pivot machine gun. We can go into that on another other live, but that's something that you can actually play intraday. I think would work well on the smaller time frames as well. But we can get into that on some future lives. I did post, if you look in the TOS studies channel, some of Sarah's studies that she uses are in there. So if you don't have TradingView, because most of these I have I have a paid subscription with TradingView, so if you guys, you can load all of those studies on Thinkorswim, and it's free. It'll look very similar to what you see here on my desktop, and get a same feel for what you're seeing here. That's about it, guys. I don't. These are all basically the same. But again, let's see. Next, this weekend, I'm definitely going to be watching some more travel. Travel right now is pretty hot. I actually found this ETF today. It's pretty new, but I was looking for travel ETFs and this popped up on my internet, and then it's like, oh, look at that, there's a 3-2 on the monthly. Of course, this is very new. I wouldn't advise getting too much into this without doing your own D&D. But I thought that was interesting. As you could see, so far it's having a really good month. Had a good month last in December as well. All right, guys. Just right at an hour. You guys got any questions? Or if you want to see any particular chart, I'll throw a chart up quick if anybody wants me to do a strat overview on something you're watching. If not, I think I'm going to call it a night, guys. I appreciate each of you tuning in. Looking forward to doing more of these in the future. And feel free to drop any questions. Either direct them right at me or drop them in the Strat channel, and I will definitely answer them. All right, everybody. Well, have a great evening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.